What's up guys, this is Michael, welcome to my channel, Savage Aesthetics. So this is a back and arms workout that I filmed at the old Alphalete gym, so it's a pretty damn old video. So it took me a long time to upload this video because I got a new laptop 2 times, so I had to restart everything a few times and it just got crazy. But I'm not going to be making any more excuses. I'm going to get my shit together and I'm definitely going to be uploading to this channel a lot more frequently from now on. So starting this workout off with pull-ups, 4 sets to fatigue. And that is the subject of today's video, is me talking about why I go to fatigue instead of failure. Now, for the past year or so, I stopped counting reps and I just go by feeling instead of having a set amount of reps that I want to do. And some of you might think, oh, that's just failure. You just go to failure. But it's actually a different concept than going to failure, in my opinion. So next exercise is a unilateral hammer strength lat pull down. This is a warm-up set. So 4 working sets, 5 sets total. I actually do count reps on my unilateral exercises, so that way I can make sure that I do the same amount of reps on each side. So 8 to 10 reps on each side. So going back to what I was saying earlier about why I feel there's a difference between going to fatigue and going to failure, because to me, when you go to failure, you go until you literally can't go anymore. So by the end of your sets, you're doing whatever you can to get the weight up, regardless of how quality your form is. So the idea of fatigue is that you want to do as many reps as you possibly can without sacrificing your form in the process. There are some exceptions when I actually do count reps, like during my heavy compound movements, and also, like I said earlier, when I do my unilateral movements. Because when I do my unilateral movements, I want to make sure that I do the same amount of reps on each side. And when I do my heavy compounds, I want to make sure that I'm safe, because going for as many reps as possible on heavy compounds can put yourself in a really bad situation if you don't have a spotter, because you can potentially injure yourself really badly. And of course, injuring yourself is the worst thing that you can do for yourself as a bodybuilder or any lifter in general, because it's going to set you back so much. So those are the only exceptions. On all my other exercises, I don't count reps and just go by going to my physical limit without sacrificing form. Because when you go into a set with a set amount of reps, it's easy to get into a mindset thinking that you only have to do that amount of reps and then you're finished. So you're essentially limiting yourself from finding out how many reps you can actually do because you're in that mindset. Because if you think about it, if you know you can do 12 reps and you hit a few extra reps that you really have to work hard for, those extra reps are going to be the ones that really matter. Those are going to be the reps that make the difference. You'll start building muscle faster, because in order to build muscle, you can't let your muscles adapt. You want your muscles to be putting in a lot of effort, so if you're hitting extra reps, those are the reps that your muscles aren't used to. So those are the reps that are going to cause your muscles to grow. Now keep in mind that this is an advanced technique. I've only been doing this for the past year. This is not something that I recommend beginners to try right away, because you want to start out building a strong foundation and getting a good idea of how your muscles respond to different techniques before you try them out. Because being a successful bodybuilder is all about getting really in tune with your body over the years of you training, so that you understand the types of techniques that work for you best, so you can maximize your gains. Because this is just one technique that I'm talking about that works really well for me personally, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is a secret, and I'm trying to tell you this because I think that it's going to give you some insane results guaranteed. I'm sharing this with you because it might help you out a lot. It might not work for you, but it's all about learning what works for you and what doesn't. Everybody has different genetics, so everybody's body is going to respond differently to different techniques. My first couple years of bodybuilding, I just followed what other people were doing because I didn't know what I was doing yet. It was this mindset of, if I do exactly what this guy does, I can look like this guy. Of course, I eventually realized that that's not how it works, but it still served as a learning and feeling out process for me to get started. So from that, I learned the things that did work for me and the things that didn't work for me, and I created my own sort of system from it. And now it's at the point where for a while now, I don't really go into the gym with an exact game plan. I haven't figured out exactly what exercise I'm going to do next until I'm in that moment where I'm moving on to the next exercise. I just use the techniques that I know work for me, and the rest of it is just experimenting along the way. That way I'm utilizing the things that I've been successful with, but at the same time I'm adding in variation, which I feel is very important. About to move on to the next exercise, which is a lat pull down variation where you're kneeling on the seat. So you have your knees on the seat, but you still have your toes on the floor behind you, keeping your back slightly arched and your chest up, pulling the cable down towards your lower chest level. This is actually an exercise that I really like, that I don't see a lot of people doing. I actually learned this exercise through experimenting with different variations, because my lower lats have always been a lagging feature for me, so I wanted to try to find a new way to focus on them. So a lot of the exercises that I found worked best for me are exercises that I don't see a lot of people doing typically. I just came up with them through realizing that this is a particular muscle I want to focus on. So how do I hit it from an angle that it's not used to? I've never been somebody that enjoys going into the gym and doing the same routine every day with the same bread and butter movements. I know that there are a lot of people that do that and it works really well for them and they enjoy it, but that's never been me personally. Not only do I believe that training variation is a very important aspect of my training that works really well for me, I also just really enjoy having some sort of change in my routine to keep it interesting. About to move on to the next exercise, which is a single arm cable lat pull down, doing 4 sets of 10 reps on each side. I actually also did a bent over cable row at some point in this workout. I think it was either before or after this exercise. I didn't end up putting it in this video because it ended up being from a really bad angle that you could hardly even see the exercise from. This is only the second workout that I've recorded on video, so it's something that I'm still getting used to. And I train by myself. I don't have a cameraman, so I use a tripod, so sometimes I'll end up putting it at a bad angle where you can't really see it from a good point of view. And I made the mistake of not checking the videos after I filmed them. So filming is something brand new to me that I'm still getting used to and that I'm going to be getting better at as time goes on. So I ended up completely cutting out the bent over cable rows, and there was also a set of pull-ups that I cut out at the beginning of the video. At the end of this video, I also did overhead tricep extensions with a dumbbell that I also cut out this video because it was at a very bad angle. So like I said, definitely something that I'm determined to improve upon. But moving on from that, what I was saying before with my routine is having a certain balance between compounds and isolation work has always worked best for me. Using the big basic lifts to build overall muscle and mass, and then using specific exercises and angles to get the details and create symmetry to create the best physique you possibly can. That's the training style that I find has given me the best results personally, and it's honestly just my favorite way to train. It's what I enjoy doing. A big part of fitness is not just the physical results that you're getting, but also asking yourself if you really enjoy what you're doing. Because if you're not truly passionate and excited about the things that you're doing, then how can you expect yourself to fully invest in it and get the best results from it? As long as you stay consistent working on your craft, you will be successful, and you can approach it a different way than other people are, and that way might work for you because you're so excited about what you're doing that you don't need to force it. And I'm not saying that it's okay to train arms on leg day just because you feel like it and just do whatever you want. You should be following some type of design and system. I'm just saying don't let that system be influenced by what other people are doing. Design it as what works for you. This was the last back exercise that I did. We're about to move on to arms. First exercise is going to be a cable curl on a row machine, facing to the side to emphasize a quality contraction. Anyway guys, getting closer to the end of the video. Main point I want to get across is that there's a lot of commercialism in the fitness industry today. There are going to be people that are going to tell you that these are the exact steps you need to follow to be successful, or else you're not doing things right. And it's more about your intentions with your training than what society depicts as your style of training. Like, for example, I could be going heavy on my compound movements, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a power lifter or I'm even training for strength. And I do believe that strength and building muscle goes together, but I consider myself a pure bodybuilder. So if I'm training heavy, I'm doing it to put on mass for my physique. Because even though I'm getting stronger by doing that, I still don't consider it strength training because strength is not my priority. So as long as it's clear to you what you want to achieve and you know you're taking the steps that work well for you, it shouldn't matter the way other people interpret what you're doing. And I'm not saying to completely ignore the things that people have to say. Be open to learning from the things that they have to share with you, but don't start comparing your results and your path to theirs. There are some basic fundamentals that apply to most people, but the only secrets are the ones that you find out for yourself. It's a long process and you have to love that process. The more you look for shortcuts, the more you're going to be dissatisfied because they don't exist. It's something that you have to stay committed to, and I honestly believe that it's something that you should be committed to because you're passionate about, not because you feel obligated to do it. Because without that passion, you can be healthy, you can be fit, but in order to be a really successful bodybuilder, you have to have that natural drive that just keeps you going. And I'm not trying to tell you what you can and can't be. If this is truly what you want to do, then you'll find that passion. Because I know that when I first started with a personal trainer, I hated training. It wasn't until I started to personalize my training and I started to find the aspects of bodybuilding that I fell in love with. And that's where that passion came from. Because I can guarantee you that you will never find a successful bodybuilder that doesn't have passion and doesn't try to stand for something. So guys, I'm going to end the video on that note. I know this was a pretty long voiceover. My next one might end up being shorter. I don't know, we'll have to see how everything plays out. But for those of you that have stuck through till the end of the video, I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, I promise that consistent content is coming soon, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave links to my social media in the description below. It would really mean a lot to me if you would follow me so I don't have to cry myself to sleep at night. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And please stay savage, guys and ghouls.